Hey y'all. Okay, I came across a very disturbing um article earlier. Okay. And I'm gonna share it with y'all. It was posted today and it was on CNN. 13 siblings held captive. How did no one else know? Listen to this. Okay. It says, a nondescript burnt orange house in Southern California, similar to many others on the same street, turned out to be a prison for 13 siblings. Now questions abound over why the Turpin children were allegedly held captive by their parents and no one else seemed to know. This is the family right here. And there are 13 kids. Man, that's a lot. I got 4. I thought that was a lot. Okay. It says, what we know. A 17-year-old escaped through a window. If not for a daring bolt by a 17-year-old girl, she and her siblings might still be trapped. The teen appeared to be only 10 years old and slightly emaciated. If anybody don't know what emaciated means, that means like real small, skinny, thin, malnourished somewhat. Using a cell phone she grabbed from the house, the girl tipped authorities to a gruesome scene. Some children were chained to their beds. When authorities arrived at the 4-bedroom house in Paris, they found some of the children shackled with chains and padlocks, the sheriff's department said. Conditions inside the house were filthy, as were the siblings. They appeared malnourished and very dirty. The 13 siblings ranged in age from 2 to 29, but the 7 adults were so emaciated they looked like children. The parents have been charged. David and Louise Turpin are charged with torture and child endangerment. Bail was set at $9 million each. Riverside County Sheriff's deputies have not previously had contact with the couple. Child Protective Services have not been called to the home in the past. The children were apparently homeschooled. The father, David Turpin, ran a private school out of his home called Sandcastle Day School. Turpin is listed as both the administrator and the principal. They looked happy in their vacation photos. Perhaps the oddest juxtaposition in this case is the cheerful family photos contrasted with the apparent horror of their home life. One photo taken at the parents' wedding vow renewal in Las Vegas showed a dozen beaming siblings and a baby, with all the boys wearing identical suits and the girls in matching dresses. Wow. Okay, so somewhere in here, there's a 29-year-old person. That's so sad, man. But we don't know the parent side of the story. It was not immediately clear if the suspects had attorneys. They had a court hearing scheduled for Thursday. Bellows said the children's mother was perplexed as to why authorities came to the home after the girl escaped. So they didn't even know why. Like, that's crazy. What other relatives may have known. David Turpin's mother, Betty, says she doesn't have any information about the case. But she said, we feel like one side of the story has been reported. This is a highly respectable family. For example, the siblings wore identical outfits on gender to help keep up with the kids during their outings. And when the family went out, the couple would line up children according to age, and the parents took their positions at the front and back of the line. How long the children were held captive? The conditions of the Turpin children suggest they've been held captive for a prolonged period of time. But it's not clear exactly how long the siblings were kept in the filthy conditions. How the parents supported the 13 children. In 2011, the Turpins filed for bankruptcy. At the time, David listed his income as a Northrop Grumman engineer as 140 grand. His wife's occupation was listed as a homemaker. The couple had about 240 grand in debt, which was mostly from credit cards. The bankruptcy documents state. But photos posted on Facebook show the whole family took several vacations in recent years, and the children joined their parents when they renewed their vows at Las Vegas's Elvis Chapel in 2013 and 15. Okay, so I'm going to play this video. Oh, there's no audio. And look at the parents.
We marry you. Baby. Yeah.
Wow.
If you can imagine being 17 years old and appearing to be a 10-year-old, being chained to a bed, being malnourished and communicated with that, I would call that torture. We have 7 of the adults. It's hard to think of them as adults when you first see them because they're small, and it's very clear that they're malnutrition. I can tell you that they're very friendly. They're very cooperative, and I believe that they're
looking at that
going to live
video,
life
nobody
get
looks
better for them,
29.
after this event.
That is so sad. So damn terrible. Okay, now I'm gonna go to, let's see what this article says. Okay, then I'm gonna read another one where the mother's sister, she's got something to say about it. Okay, this right here, let me just read this one because this has a little bit more information than the other report. Okay, this one says, California torture house where 13 starving kids were found has not been inspected. There is no record that the horror house in California where 13 starving siblings were found was ever inspected by the fire department as required by law, a city official confirmed Thursday. That could explain why Paris city officials had no idea that David Alan Turpin and his wife, Louisa, were allegedly torturing their children until Sunday when their 17-year-old daughter escaped and used the cell phone she found in the house to call 911. The revelation came a day before the couple were expected to make their first court appearance to face possible torture and child endangerment charges. The tan stucco house that the Turpins called home was required to have annual fire inspections because David Turpin had gotten state approval to run a private school. But when the Associated Press asked for inspection records, the city clerk said there weren't any. The city fire marshal did not return a call from NBC News. No state agency regulates or oversees private schools in California, but they are subject to an annual inspection by the state or local fire marshal. We are sickened by this tragedy and relieved that the children are now safe and authorities are investigating. Private schools are required to register with the state to record their students' exemption from compulsory attendance at public schools. Under current California law, the CDE does not approve, monitor, inspect, or oversee private schools, but we will gladly work to make changes in the law that would prevent this type of tragedy from occurring in the future. A spokesman from the city of Paris, however, said the state was supposed to have let it know that the Turpins were operating a school out of their home, but they never did. Wow. Wow. And the one time they didn't report it or whatever is people like this. Damn. The Turpins failed to contact the city of Paris regarding the operation in school of the school and never sought a business license from the city. The private home-based school operators check with local authorities regarding local business license, but does not mandate fire inspections. All 13 of the children, ages 2 to 29, have been admitted to the hospital for treatment for severe malnutrition. The Turpins had little contact with their family back in West Virginia, and shocked relatives have told NBC News that they had no idea what they were allegedly doing. "We always thought she was living the perfect life," said Teresa, Louisa's sister. "She would tell us they went to Disneyland all the time. They would go to Vegas." The secret of the house on Muir Woods Road began to spill out on Sunday when the 17-year-old daughter escaped and called 911. Further investigation revealed several children were shackled to their beds with chains and padlocks in dark and foul-smelling surroundings, but the parents were unable to immediately provide a logical reason why their children were restrained in that manner. It was only after freeing them that the deputies discovered that 7 of who they thought were severely emaciated children were actually adults, ranging in ages from 18 to 29. So 7 of those children that we just saw in those pictures were ages 18 to 29. And that's sad, like... Okay. Aunt of 13 captive children revealed years of secrecy and concerns. For decades, Elizabeth begged to see her nieces and nephews, even Skype would do. But her sister and brother-in-law, Louise and David Turpin, kept such a secret life that they wouldn't let her in. When that happens for 20 years, and it was before the kids were even there, you don't think it's abnormal. If it had been like 2 years ago that she cut us off, then we might think, wow, something's not right. But this has been going on before they even had children. They were real private, and they didn't come around that much. The world now knows. Hold on. The world now knows some of what was happening inside of the Turpins' 4-bedroom house. Their 13 children were held captive, with some shackled and chained with padlocks. Now the children are free and the parents are in custody. The Turpins face charges of torture and child endangerment. Bail was set at $9 million. It was not immediately clear whether they have hired an attorney. The sister-in-law says, "He watched me when I showered." Flores said she was never really comfortable with her brother-in-law. Back when she was in college, Flores lived with the Turpins for a few months. At that time, the couple had a few children. David Allen Turpin and Louise, those are their pictures. They faced torture and child endangerment. "I thought they were really strict, but I didn't see any abuse. But something very disturbing did happen. Turpin used to watch Flores shower," she said. If I went to get in the shower, he would come in while I was in there and watch me. It was like a joke. He never touched me or anything." But she said she never told anyone about the shower stalking. "I was young. I was scared. I was in Texas where I knew nobody. I was treated like one of the kids, kind of. So I had rules. Well, now that I'm an adult and I look back, I see things that I didn't see then." As the family grew, Flores said, Louise even shut out her own father. Several years ago, she said her father booked a flight to go see Louise and her family. He got the ticket. He was going to surprise her, and he even called to tell them she was coming, and she told him not to come. Another sister. The kids looked really skinny. Teresa Robinette, another sister of Louise, said she sometimes kept in touch with the mother of 13, but she was concerned about the children's weights. "I always made comments to Louise when I did talk to her about, gosh, they're so skinny, and she would laugh it off. Well, David's tall and lanky, so they're going to be just like him." After hearing about the children's alleged torture at home, Robinette broke down in tears. We are as hurt and shocked and angry and disappointed as everyone else. Flores said she too was devastated to hear what happened, but she said she still loves her sister. I want her to know that she's still my blood and I love her. I don't agree with what she did, and her actions have made the whole family suffer, but I want her to know that I'm praying for her salvation. Flores said she has put an important message for her nieces and nephews. I want them to know that they do have family that they love, whether they know us or not. Everybody wondered why they had all them kids. Brenda Taylor, who is Louise's aunt, said she wasn't around her niece often, but followed the couple's lives on Facebook. With the pictures they put on Facebook, you thought they were one big happy family. David and Louise were both from Princeton, West Virginia. She was young when they married. She was 16, I think. Taylor said she hadn't seen them in West Virginia since the mid-90s, when the couple had only 2 children. She said they didn't come home for Louise's parents' funeral and that she wasn't in direct contact with the family. Everybody in the family was always wondering why they had all them kids. I never dreamed they had all them kids. But she would comment on their Facebook page but never got a response back. Taylor said she was shocked to hear of their arrest. We always thought she was the most stable of them. Now it sounds like she was the worst of them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this. Let's see what she's got to say on here.
Mainly I want to reach out to the kids. I want them to know that years we begged to Skype them. We begged to see them. The whole family. I've asked for 20 years to be able to Skype them. And I want them to know that they do have family that they love, whether they know us or not. I want her to know that she's still my blood and I love her. I don't agree with what she did, and her actions has made the whole family suffer. But I want her to know that I'm praying for her.
You know, it's really sad, man. Like, these children, they're... Damn. I just don't understand. Like, why do people even have kids if they want to do this to them? Like, I just don't understand. You have 13 kids to torture them. And even, like, the baby. Okay, I don't know how recent this picture was, but... Like, I mean, the baby in this picture don't really look too... I mean, it looks probably about 1.
Brand new Nissan Rogue Sport.
But... Yeah. I'm just looking at these kids, and it's like... You got 13 children. Who all look... I'm sorry. You have... well, it's their kids, okay? 13 siblings. And looking at this, you would think they're all... kids, you know, little kids, and then like some teenagers. But like, it just, yeah, it's crazy. What's wrong with people, man? Things like that make me so upset. You know, it really hits the nerve because, you know, like I got 4 kids, and I could never do anything like that to my children. Or anybody else, or anybody else's kids, or any other person. Like, I could not hurt another person, okay? And to make someone starve and torture and chain them up and stuff like that. Like, I just don't understand it. And it just makes no sense, you know? I mean, they wanted the children because they had them. They obviously kept producing children, so they wanted the kids. But it's like, what did you want them for? Like, you obviously didn't want them like a normal parent would want children. You know, you wanted to keep having kids, so I guess so they could torture them and starve them and whatever. I mean, people get a thrill out of sick things sometimes, and I don't understand it, man. You know, and there's so many people that can't have kids that would love to have children, you know, or even people that can have kids, you know, and just want to adopt children or whatever. Like, that's fine, you know, but there's so many people out here that want a child, and here these people are just fertile as hell, popping out kids left and right and torturing them and making them starve. And like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. It's just crazy. I don't understand, don't want to understand. You know, things like that are beyond me. But I just thought it was like a shocking story, so I just really wanted to share that with y'all. Leave your comments and feedback below. If you need to send anything to me, please feel free to do so on my email. Till the next time, you guys have a great night. Thank you.